Affiliated to this paper, I need freedom for my family line. Draw my life design up like fine art. I'm jumping out just to unfamiliar coordinates. Hopped off the porch like I could touch the sky. Red is not one trillion. The ism talk the water out your faucet. Look at me flossing, I'm so wavy I could change the tide. My intuition sense the hatred in your ways. You imitate forging lines, claim meaning means that's just to justify. Yeah, right. West side, born maritime. Creole baby, my bloodline. My lungs clouded, my thoughts crowded. Say all I see is these dollar signs. Finna make a play and that sound delay. On mamas, I testify. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Game recognized game. I'm from the Bay, okay, I'm versatile and my slang is different. I'm lane switching with the same people that I came up in this thing with. My head swivel, I'm homebound, got a target back on my backside. Cat peeling with the cast iron, better run for it, run before I catch you. Niggas out ball it, block it, trying to stop my blessing. Gamble with your life, don't bet it, don't bet it. They can't stop my blessing, you do best not to test it. Yeah, you right, real all in my blood supply. Nigga ball up top, finna make a play. I cast a lob like I'm Jalen, baby. No co-signer, no co-pilot. They pen pals, my flow designer. My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission is a dollar sign. If I say it twice and I meant it right.
My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission is a dollar sign. You know co-signer, no co-pilot. They pen pals, my flow designer. My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission is a dollar sign.
Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds.
Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking, all right? So shout out to everybody who's in the building early. It's good to see each and every one of you. If you guys can hear me okay and everything looks good on the screen, please give me a thumbs up or a radiation emoji in the chat. If you cannot hear me or things are looking bad or sounding bad, please give me a thumbs down or an angry face. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to shout out everybody who's in the building early, all right? Shout out to Brooklyn Queen, mod extraordinaire. Make sure you guys do exactly what she's saying in the chat. Shout out to my man Carlton Way. What's good with it, bro? Shout out to Katsy. Shout out to Rosemary. Shout out to Vovo2 Love. Shout out to my man Alpha Male Pimp Network. Shout out to my man John Guillory. And shout out to Alonda. What is good with y'all? It's good to see each and every one of you. Hey, so before we get started, right? Before we get started, I got to tell you about this video that I watched. How many people seen that video about MC Hammer that came across my timeline, and it was a channel that I wasn't subscribed to, but it was a video about MC Hammer, and it was a video about MC Hammer and his beef with Third Base. I didn't even know MC Hammer had beef with Third Base, and I used to be an MC Hammer fan. You know what I'm saying? Like MC Hammer was my dude. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know he had beef with Third Base. But man, he had beef with Third Base. You know what I'm saying? You know, and MC Search was the main one talking wild. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, if you pay attention and you watch that beef, MC Search is doing the usual, you know what I'm saying, them folks type nonsense. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to degrade MC Hammer and say that MC Hammer is unintelligent and something must be wrong with MC Hammer because he got offended by a lyric that was clearly meant to be directed at MC Hammer and a shot at MC Hammer. And MC Hammer was like, yo, bro, listen, I ain't trying to hear none of that, homeboy. You know what I'm saying? You better just make sure that you on your P's and Q's when you in California. Listen, man. They traumatized MC Search so bad he had to go through 25 years of therapy, you know what I'm saying, behind the beef with MC Hammer. He had to go through 25 years of therapy. Oh man, they got MC Search sitting up there talking wild, man, saying he wanted to do all this wild stuff, like, yo, I want to do this to MC Hammer and I want to do that to MC Hammer and yada yada yada, and all over some lyrics that you said. All over some lyrics that you said. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You had to go through 25 years of therapy. You know what I'm saying? Now, listen, man. Why am I saying that? I'm saying that to say this. How many times do y'all hear people caping for Third Base and MC Search? You know what I'm saying? Oh, MC Search, you know, he real. You know what I'm saying? He one of the real ones and yada, yada, yada. Man, listen, man. MC Search is not real. You know what I'm saying? He's not one of the real ones. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, you know, I think people need to stop, quote unquote, designating, quote unquote, who, quote unquote, real ones are. People need to stop doing that. You know what I'm saying? Because 9 times out of 10, when people, quote unquote, designate a real one, quote unquote, man, some wild, messed up nonsense comes out of their history to bite them. You know what I'm saying? And that situation between MC Hammer and MC Search was absolutely some wild nonsense. And if I'm not mistaken, man, you know, MC Search got some shady history behind somehow popping up with a bunch of people's masters and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Brooklyn Queen said, good, he's a guest. FAFO or STFU. Yeah, facts. And if you, you know, hey, man, listen, as far as MC Search go, man, hey, you know what I'm saying? It's like whatever, you know. Shout out to Al McCowan. What's good with it, bro? But yeah, man, people be like, yo, you know, yeah, MC Search, he was the real one, yada, yada, yada. You know what I'm saying? Yada, yada, yada. Shout out, yeah, Nas. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like, and I like Nas, man, but you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like, put the blunt down before you start talking sometimes. Put the blunt down before you start talking sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like Nas, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like Nas lyrics and all that, but like, you smoke too much. You know what I'm saying? You smoke too much. So anyway, we about to get into these Bitcoin price predictions, man, because these Bitcoin price predictions are wild. They're wild. You know what? Shout out to Carlton. Speaking of Nas, man, we got to roast Nas for a minute. You know what I'm saying? You remember Nas in that Poison song was talking about the liquor commercials and all that, and then you know what I'm saying? Like Nas turned around and be a spokesperson for Hennessy. You know what I'm saying? He turns around and then he's a spokesperson for Hennessy and nobody says anything about it. You know what I'm saying? He's a spokesperson for Hennessy. Nas was doing the Hennessy commercials for a minute. You know what I'm saying? And then he's sitting up there talking about how evil, the alcohol advertisement is. Like, bruh, you know what I'm saying? Put that blunt down sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Dwayne. Dwayne says the Red Man story the story Red Man tells about Hammer checking him. I'm thankful for MC Search put Nasty Nas with all those producers. Listen, I am not. I think Nas could have found them producers on his own. You know what I'm saying? If you ask me, MC Search is a pollutant. You know what I'm saying? MC Search is a pollutant. He should have gotten up out of the game. You know what I'm saying? People let him stick around though. It's a such thing as wear out your welcome. You know what I'm saying? How many people heard that their family would say that to people? Like, you don't want to go over here too much, or you don't want to do something like this too much because you might mess around and wear out your welcome. People wear out their welcome. You know what I'm saying? MC Search wore out his welcome. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's time for you to move on, homeboy. You know what I'm saying? But people let him stay. People let him stick around. People kept validating him. You know what I'm saying? If anybody have a problem with him and they say something about it, you know what I'm saying? Here they come attacking you instead of attacking the person that's going around causing beef and calling rappers unintelligent, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, Nas have songs in the 2000s about sipping 40s with his homies. But the thing is that after the maturity of Nas, right? Like, I don't expect somebody in their first album or two, especially when they're young, to really have like some type of message behind their music, unless it's just somebody that's extremely intelligent. You know what I'm saying? Which, Nas is extremely intelligent. You know what I'm saying? But once he got into his mature state, like when he got into his retirement, that's when he started doing the Hennessy commercials. It's like, come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? You being a clown. And you know what I'm saying? And like, I ain't trying to be funny, man, but you know what I'm saying? Like having a kid with Khalees is a whole clown move too. You know what I'm saying? That's some clown move type stuff. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to be funny, man, but I don't know if like moving like that, if you look at things holistically, I don't know how having a baby mom like Khalees put you in the runnings for quote unquote King of New York. That might put you in the runnings for King of the Clowns, or it might put you in the running for King of the Simps. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know how, having Khalees as a baby mom, you know what I'm saying, would not be a disqualifier for being the king of anything. You know what I'm saying? But that's just me. That's just how I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not with giving people passes. You know what I'm saying? Even Nas, you know what I'm saying? Nas one of my favorite MCs, but bro, you kind of weird with some things that you do. You know what I'm saying? Kind of weird with some things that you do. I ain't gonna look past it. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you know what I'm saying? You move kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? So Michael Saylor is saying that Bitcoin will be unaffordable. So not only will there not be a lot of Bitcoin left, but you won't have to worry about the little bit of Bitcoin that's left anyway, because you won't be able to afford it. You know what I'm saying? He's saying that the price will skyrocket to $5 million. Now, I don't know what the time frame is on this price. Now, if you look at some of the comments at the bottom of this article, it's interesting because a lot of people in the comments at the bottom of the article, they're like, $5 million? Yeah, right. Literally at every price level that we've been at, it's been somebody that said, yeah, oh, this price? Yeah, right. And then next thing we know, we're at that price. You know what I'm saying? Michael Saylor predicts Bitcoin will reach $5 million, citing three major catalysts: a spot Bitcoin ETF, bank custody with lending, and fair value accounting for Bitcoin on corporate balance sheets. Now, we talked about this, right? The accounting standards for cryptocurrency and Bitcoin before used to be that you have to list Bitcoin as a liability. Now, here goes my question for you. What sense does it make to list Bitcoin as a liability? What kind of taxes do you usually pay on liabilities? Does anybody know? You know what I'm saying? You don't usually pay taxes on liabilities. You know what I'm saying? Because liabilities are negative income or negative equity. They're negative value, right? That's what they represent on a balance sheet, right? So imagine something being classified as a liability and you have to pay tax on it. Somebody make it make sense. So Michael Saylor, co-founder of Strategy, as you guys know, he's changed the name of his company from MicroStrategies to Strategy, is convinced that Bitcoin is on an unstoppable trajectory to replace gold, predicting a staggering price of $500,000 per coin in the near term and $5 million per coin in the long run. All right. Now, let me ask you guys this question. What do people think about that? Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said unaffordable Bitcoin. Dang. Hey, people don't want it anyway, right? So it's not going to affect too many people. Right? Shout out to Carlton. Nobody wants Bitcoin anyway. So it definitely ain't going to hurt nobody if it become unaffordable, because now it really means that you can't get none. So, you know what I'm saying? This is doing nothing but helping people stand on business, right? Speaking in an X space, did anybody watch this X space? On September 20th of 2024, the Strategy co-founder outlined 3 key catalysts that he believes will trigger an unprecedented Bitcoin rally. At the time of the X spaces, Bitcoin was trading at $63,000. It is now at $97,000, up 53.7%. And with these kind of movements, there's still people sitting there saying it's not going anywhere. I mean, okay, right? I guess if Bitcoin continues to grow at an average rate of 54% every 5 months, it would take approximately 3 years and 3 months to reach $5 million. Now, you know, if I'm not mistaken, I think that they made a calculation and it shows that Bitcoin, for the most part, increases with a what? 64% APY, which is higher than 54%, right? Stretched out for an entire year. Shout out to shout out to Carlton. Carlton said, "Nah, I was in the diaspora war at space at the time. You missed out, bro. You missed out. You know what I'm saying?" So now here it says Saylor argued that even without any major regulatory or institutional breakthroughs, Bitcoin is already on track to surpass gold as the dominant store of value. How many people would agree with that? If you guys would agree with that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree with that, give me a thumbs down. It's going to be a grind up by a factor of 10 just because gold is broken and Bitcoin is going to replace gold, he said. Everybody in the universe now knows they need a non-sovereign store of value in the form of a bearer instrument. I wouldn't go as far as to, you know, Michael Saylor is pretty liberal with this prediction. He says everybody in the universe now knows. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that everybody knows. I would say everyone has had exposure to the idea, right? I would say that everybody had exposure to the idea, but I wouldn't say that everybody knows. Would you guys say that everybody knows? I wouldn't say that everybody knows. With inflation concerns now a mainstream narrative, Saylor believes Bitcoin's role as an inflation hedge will drive its gradual ascent. Last year, people said inflation may be coming. Now the mainstream narrative has flipped to inflation is here and you need an inflation hedge. All right. So now, you know, we talked about this, right? What are some inflation hedges that can be used to protect your portfolio's value and purchasing power? Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said Michael Saylor hasn't been on this side of the tracks. That's because he wants to get smarter. He doesn't want to get dumber, Carlton. He wants to get more intelligent. He doesn't want to get de-intelligenced. You know what I'm saying? He wants to have Bitcoin suck all the value out of everything. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't want to have the stuff that he's listening to suck all the brain cells out of his head. You know what I'm saying? That might explain some things, right? So now here it says, according to him, this alone is enough to propel Bitcoin to $500,000 per coin. But 3 additional factors could send it to 5 million per Bitcoin. All right. 3 catalysts that could send Bitcoin to $5 million. Sailor believes Bitcoin's price could skyrocket to $5 million per coin if 3 major catalysts unfold. So these are things that we need to watch for, right? Because if these things occur, or if these things are occurring, the idea is they'll move Bitcoin to 500,000, then they'll move Bitcoin to 5 million. The first, he says, is the approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF. We've already got that, right? We've already got the approval of the Bitcoin spot ETFs. You know what I'm saying? shout out to John Guillory. John Guillory said, hey, I was on Spaces listening to Tethers getting roasted by FBA. Bro, that's hilarious. Listen, you should look, I'm about to make some new merch. I'm about to make some new merch. I'm about to get some pins, and the pins are going to say, I would have gotten rich, but instead I was listening to Tethers get roasted by FBAs. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to say it on the pin, and it's going to have, in the backdrop, it's going to have Yakub, the big-headed scientist that created Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man, AB Promotions. I appreciate you, bro. My man, AB Promotions says, people who use fiat, we call them poor. Facts. Super facts. If you guys agree with AB Promotions, throw some flames in the chat. If y'all disagree with AB, you know what I'm saying, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to my man, AB, for funding the organization. Make sure y'all show AB some love.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
Yeah. Shout out to John Guillory. John says gold, silver, real estate to a certain extent, and art are hedges against inflation. Yeah, I would agree. I would go as far as to say, right? Me personally, I wouldn't define any hardcore material asset as a quote unquote hedge against inflation. I would simply say an asset that appreciates faster than inflation rises. You know what I'm saying? That's how I would phrase that, right? That way you would be able to have leniency to where, you know, if another asset started to behave in a way where it could be qualified as a inflation hedge, you're not hard locked in by that definition. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not hard locked in by, okay, well, you know, it'll be these things, right? As long as you have a definition, you know, that defines a qualifying attribute, or it defines a qualifying quality, you know what I'm saying, as items move in or move out of those qualifications, you know what I'm saying, you know, they will be able to properly be classified. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I would say all of these things: gold, silver, real estate, art, you know. Now, gold is actually doing very well. You know what I'm saying? Gold is actually doing very well. But the interesting thing about gold is that although it's doing well, Bitcoin is speeding towards performing equal to gold. And at the speed that is moving towards performing equal to gold, you know what I'm saying, it's on a trajectory to pass gold. Shout out to Katsy. Katsy said, so definitely not a car or computer. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, not a car or computer. Especially not a car. Not a car, not a computer, not a phone. I wouldn't say any. I would say most technology, you know, is not a hedge against inflation. I would say most technology depreciates. You know what I'm saying? Anything where there's you know, a rapid innovation, anything where things become outdated extremely quickly, I wouldn't say that those things, you know, are hedges against inflation. I would say those things depreciate. I don't even know if I would call those things, you know, assets, to be honest. You know, and that's another thing, right? I keep criticizing this accounting classification of how they had Bitcoin listed as a liability. You know, Bitcoin has a clear track record of appreciation, right? And liabilities are negative equity, right? You can look this up. Liabilities on a balance sheet, liabilities under ABC costing, Liabilities are a negative equity. They're negative value on a balance sheet. They're something that takes away from, you know, the entire valuation of your company or your farm or your value, right? Depreciating assets actually should be liabilities. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have a business and you buy a fleet of 2025 cars, that fleet of 2025 cars is only worth its highest value as it's transacted for. After the transaction, the value depletes indefinitely until you sell it. So how is that an asset? How is that an asset? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to AB. AB says, my Benz is going up in value. What y'all talking about? I only need a Regal now. Now, we all know the reason why the Benz is going up in value, right? And why a Regal would go up in value, right? Those are not the same as like a regular car. You know what I'm saying? If you're dealing with a good condition or a mint condition classic car, those classic cars have two things working in their favor that most cars don't have. They have scarcity, right? They have scarcity and they have an increased demand. So, you know, because of those two factors, the pricing of a classic car and the appreciation of a classic car will be very different than, say, if you bought a car, you know, from a dealership. You're not buying no classic car from a dealership. You know what I'm saying? In most cases, you know what I'm saying? You might, in some case, I don't know what case that might be, but in most cases, you buying a classic car from, you know, a classic car owner. And to be honest, you know, the classic car owner is actually a benefit as well, because the classic car owner is going to take special care of that car. So, you know, there's a certain understood element of maintenance and quality that's going to be associated with the classic car being owned by a classic car owner. You know what I'm saying? Classic car owner is going to baby their car. It's not going to be no rust on there. It's going to be waxed all the time. You know what I'm saying? The white wall is going to be clean like a new pair of Air Force Ones. You know what I'm saying? It's all kind of stuff that you're going to get buying. You even get that type of care with certain cars from old people. You know what I'm saying? Like you find you like an old couple and you buy like a, you know, a Delta 88 or something like that. You're not going to get like the classic car type value, but you're going to get an increased level of value. And I'll tell you what else too, you're going to get an increased level of value if you buy your car from the South. You know what I'm saying? You're not really going to get a valuable car anywhere above the Mason-Dixon line, just because the environmental differences between the North and the South are automatically going to deteriorate the car, you know what I'm saying, faster than the car would be deteriorated if it was in a place like Georgia or if it was in a place like Florida. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to AB. Yeah, old people take care of their cars. Old people take care of their cars. They don't push their cars to the limit. They barely push the gas pedal at all. You know what I'm saying? They clean them to the detail. They get their grandkids to clean them. The old people take care of their cars. Old people take care of their cars, for real, for real. If you buy a car from an old person, that you good. You know what I'm saying? Buy a car from a younger person, you know what I'm saying, you might run into some problems. Now, we got this first thing, right? We got this Bitcoin spot ETF, right? So that's one thing, which would allow institutions to make large purchases seamlessly. Now, let me ask you guys this question. When we got this Bitcoin spot ETF, what happened to the Bitcoin price? Y'all remember what happened to the Bitcoin price? That's when it went from about what, $65,000 to what, like 95,000. So there was like a $30,000 increase in the price. What's that? What was that, like a 33% increase? Was that a 33% increase? A little bit more than 33% increase, right? Someone can go ahead and buy $100 million of Bitcoin through a security, an ETF security. I think that's one. All right. The second major factor, right, is banks custodying Bitcoin and offering loans against it. Now, we got half of this one, right? Things are moving in the direction to where legislation is slowly happening where banks are able to custody Bitcoin, right? This is a fact, right? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. we now are moving towards where banks are able to custody Bitcoin. This is the thing that's happening right now. Right now, as far as offering loans against it, this hasn't happened yet, but I'm sure it will. Now, you know, one could, you know, go out on a limb and say that, you know, the type of financial instruments that MicroStrategies makes, MicroStrategies, you know, could be issuing itself loans against Bitcoin, right? We could go out on a stretch and say that, but banks aren't doing it though. You know what I'm saying? Banks aren't doing it. MicroStrategies is not a bank. You know what I'm saying? MicroStrategies is doing it. They're creating these, you know, bonds, convertible bonds and all that with the Bitcoin, which would be loans against it, right? But MicroStrategies don't count in this particular instance because the second major factor is about banks, and MicroStrategy is not a bank. You know what I'm saying? MicroStrategies probably has the ability to do things and to move in ways that legislation may restrict a bank from doing. So there needs to be, you know, some type of regulatory clarity or some type of regulatory updates to policy to where banks will be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man John Guillory. Make sure y'all show John Guillory some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for John Guillory. John says, hit the like button, share, subscribe, and support by becoming a member for 99 cents. Or if you are a crypto investor, $1,000 a month, your choice. Right. Because we all know that, you know, if you're a crypto investor, you know what I'm saying, you know, you're not losing money if you're giving away your fiat. Right. So you can go ahead and drop that $1,000. You know what I'm saying? Because that $1,000 it's not going to get you the same thing, you know what I'm saying, that a Bitcoin to get you in 2 years, right? So, you know, you dropping $1,000 today, you know, you're going to have to drop $10,000 in 2 years. You know what I'm saying? But if you drop a Bitcoin today, you know, in 10 years, you just drop half a Bitcoin and we good. Because dollars, as time goes on, you're required more dollars to pay for the same thing. As time goes on with Bitcoin, you're required less Bitcoin to pay for less. You know what I'm saying? But Bitcoin is a scam, despite the fact that you get the eternal discount when you buy it with Bitcoin. I don't understand, but you know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, bro. Make sure y'all show John some love, throw some flames, some radiation emojis, some ducks in the chat for John, for funding the organization for 21 months and for standing on business.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
Shout out to Catsy for standing on business. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all show Catsy some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emojis, some ducks in the chat for Catsy, for funding the organization and standing on business for 23 months. Definitely appreciate it.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Definitely appreciate Brooklyn Queen. Everybody flexing today. That's what's good. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Make sure y'all show Brooklyn Queen some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emojis, some ducks in the chat for Brooklyn Queen, for funding the organization for 18 months. Definitely appreciate you, Brooklyn Queen, and being a mod extraordinaire.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business.
Hey, every time I see Drewski in that video, it's hilarious. Oh, man, that's hilarious. So, yeah, man. So the second major factor is banks custodying Bitcoin and offering loans against it, a move that would integrate Bitcoin into the traditional financial system and increase institutional demand. All right. Your bank is going to custody it for you and lend against it, he noted. All right. So let me ask you guys this question. Imagine a financial system where banks are issuing debt against Bitcoin. Shout out. Shout out to Cassie. Cassie said, I'm an OG. John said, drop that. I'm an old Mac. You know what I'm saying? I'm an old Mac. You know what I'm saying? From way back.
I'm an old Mac from way back. one of the original players from the Himalaya.
Hey, why Martin pop his shoulder like that when he said way back? Look, watch this. Why you pop his shoulder like that?
I'm an old Mac from way back.
Hey, why you pop his shoulder like that? So now here it says, lastly, Saylor sees fair value accounting for Bitcoin on corporate balance sheets as a game changer. All right. If companies can report Bitcoin's true market value rather than forced to write down losses, it could accelerate adoption. I can mark it up or mark it down on my balance sheet based on fair value, the same way I handle Apple stocks or even treasury bonds. All right. So now, again, you got to ask yourself about the accounting standards, right? Why is it that with the accounting standards, you know what I'm saying, you have to qualify, you have to classify Bitcoin as a liability? What kind of sense does that make? Yeah, facts. Shout out to AB. I got to agree. If you guys agree with AB, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. AB says, Rob, it's coming. Banks will be offering hella fiat for your Bitcoin today. Yeah, and the thing is why would you buy and hold Bitcoin and then accept fiat in exchange for it? You know what I'm saying? Like don't fall for that. You know what I'm saying? That's hilarious. Shout out to Alpha Male Pimp Network. Alpha Male Pimp Network said, because that's how the old school Macs popped their shoulders back in the day. Martin popped that shoulder. You know what I'm saying? I'm an old Mac from way back. That's hilarious. I got to get some drops with Otis. You know what I'm saying? I got to get some drops with Otis in them. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, if the banks can hold this stuff on their balance sheet, then a whole new class of investors are going to buy it, he explained. People are going to put in million and multi-billion-dollar orders to buy it as a treasury asset. With banks enabling borrowing against Bitcoin at low interest rates, he believes there will be no reason for holders to sell. Nobody's going to sell. See, listen, nobody's going to sell because there's no reason to sell it if you can borrow against it at SOFR plus 50 basis points, he stated. So again, this is according to Michael Saylor and what he's saying, right? Again, this just backs up the notion of don't sell your Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Now, here, right? Bitcoin will be unaffordable. Some people say that Bitcoin is unaffordable today, right? But you can buy Bitcoin in units, very small, right? You can buy Satoshis, even though Satoshis going to $1 million. You know what I'm saying? You can buy Satoshis, right? So, you know, Bitcoin is not unaffordable yet. But I think that the major issue will not be Bitcoin's affordability, right? I think that the major issue will be Bitcoin's availability. That's the thing that I don't think people understand. Let me ask you guys this question. How many people understand that there will be a time when there are no Bitcoin available for anybody? Like it's not, you know, you have all day and you can think about buying it and it'll always be there and available for you to have the option to buy. That's not the case. You know what I'm saying? That's not the case. What the case actually is that every day you don't buy Bitcoin, there's less Bitcoin for you to have the option to purchase. That's the case. That's one of the reasons why the price is forever going up. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Lehman Lucas. Lehman Lucas said, what's good with you, Rob? Did you find out anything about Husky? You know what? To be honest, I haven't come across anything, and I'm not even going to lie to you, bro. Like, I only have looked, like, within, you know, the stuff that I usually look at. I haven't done any extra outside research yet. You know what I'm saying? So my apologies. Yeah, and shout out to AB Promotions. No Bitcoin is around the corner. Yeah, no, the days of zero Bitcoin availability are coming very quickly. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said there are two things you should never do. One, take your helmet off in space. 2, sell your Bitcoin. Now, let me ask you this question. What about if the only thing that you're wearing in space is a helmet? What about that? I don't know if at that point you may as well just go and take it off. Right? At that point, you may as well just go and take it off, right? What if that's the only thing you got on in outer space? You just floating around with the helmet on. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Speaking of floating around in space, what y'all think about these space suits? What are those actually supposed to protect somebody from? Let me ask you guys this question. How do the space suits protect anybody from zero gravity, right? And from a vacuum? How do they protect anybody from that? I'm going to just throw this robe on and it's going to protect me from zero gravity. And it's going to protect me from a vacuum. Now, let me ask you this question, right? If your human anatomy is in a vacuum and in zero gravity, what happens? Let me what mechanically happens? How would that work? And first of all, let's even ask this. Let's ask. Now, shout out to Carlton. Carlton says it protects you from radiation. Right. But is radiation the only thing that you got, that you got going against you out there? Let me ask you this. What do we need air pressure and atmospheric pressure for? What do we need that for? Like when you go up in a plane and you can feel, things get kind of strange inside of your ears, right? That's from that's from a small change in atmospheric pressure. Now, let me ask you this question. Is zero gravity a change in atmospheric pressure? You know what I'm saying? Would that create different atmospheric pressure conditions? Facts. Shout out to John Guillory. John said there are 2 things you should never do. 1, be a simp like most of these cats on YouTube, and 2, sell your Bitcoin. Facts. Shout out to Lehman Lucas. Lehman Lucas says you'll freeze and become ice. Yeah, that absolutely is something that could occur, right? But what most people don't realize is that you're engineered for the exact air pressure that is constantly, applied to your body on the planet Earth. You're not really engineered for pressures outside of that, right? So an example of that is, let's just say you go on this planet, on the Earth, to the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. What will happen to your body? If we dipped you down into the bottom of the Earth, into the bottom of the ocean, and then we brought you back up, what would happen to you? What would you look like? You know what I'm saying? You probably look like, you go down there looking like a person and come back up looking like a meatball or something like that, right? Why did that happen? Because of the differences in pressure, right? Now, what happens if you go where there's zero pressure? Right? So the opposite of going to the bottom of the ocean would happen to you in space, right? So if you went to a situation where there's extreme pressures, you will get compressed, right? If you go to an environment where there's zero pressure, there will be no pressure to hold you together. So for the most part, you would just you wouldn't implode, right? At the bottom of the sea, you would implode. In a zero pressure, zero gravity environment, you would explode, right? You would explode. Right? So you would explode. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody shook up a bottle of pop and opened it up. You know what I'm saying? So my question is, how does a spacesuit protect you from that? How does a spaceship protect you from that? Now, mind you, this is before you even deal with any radiation, right? This is before you deal with any gamma rays. You know what I'm saying? This is before you deal with any X-rays. This is before you deal with any, UVA light or anything like that, right? This is before all that. Just the pressure. You can feel this pressure, you know what I'm saying, in an airplane. You can feel the pressure. That's what makes your ears, quote unquote, pop. Right? Like you got these things inside of your body called baroreceptors. And baroreceptors, quote unquote, respond to pressure changes. You know what I'm saying? So my question is, it's nice that they got the, they got the designer aluminum foil and all that they be putting on the people to send them into outer space. But my question is, what does it do? What does it do? Yeah, it'll be little chunks, and they'll go slow because it's no gravity. So not only will you explode, right, but little chunks of bones and brains and body parts, it'll just be like sifting through outer space. It'll be little droplets, little singular droplets of blood and body fluid that just float. They'll just float through outer space. It's not going to splatter or anything like that because it's not enough. You ain't going to be able to get up enough momentum for it to splatter. So it'll just be, like one little oval of blood or one little oval of piece of brain. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Al. Al says the spacesuit must be made out of heavy duty Spanx. It's something, right? Shout out to Alpha Male Pimp Network. Alpha Male Pimp Network says, so how does the xenomorph survive the vacuums of space? Well, I would go as far as to say the xenomorphs have a very different biology than humans, right? So that right there in itself, that would be how they do it, right? Because there are organisms that can survive the vacuums of space, right? Like there's an organism called a tardigrade, right? That can survive the vacuum of space, right? It's just humans can't survive the vacuum of space. Humans can't survive very much. You know what I'm saying? I would say that if you watch like the Ridley Scott, the Alien series, I would say that they designed the xenomorphs, their durability. They designed them based on like a tardigrade, a sea bear, right, on steroids. You know what I'm saying? They have like all of the adaptability, and resistant features of like the tardigrades. Humans don't have a lot of adaptability. You know what I'm saying? Humans don't have a lot of adaptability, Shout out to Alpha Male Pimp Network. Alpha Male Pimp Network says there's radiation in the chat whenever we put radiation emoji in the chat. Actually, there's always radiation in the chat, and it's actually being generated from your cell phone. You know what I'm saying? And not trying to be funny, but it's probably going straight through your body and knocking off electrons in your physiology as we speak. You know what I'm saying? Because that happens. That's one of the reasons why people should make sure that they eat a lot of blackberries. You know what I'm saying? People and eat a lot of blueberries and do something with some antioxidants. But yeah, you could put in radiation emojis. The radiation emojis will look cool on the screen, but you probably have some very low frequency light cooking, the nuclei of your cells right now. You know what I'm saying? Coming straight out of whatever it is that you watching the live stream off of. That's why it's called that's why it's called a quote unquote broadcast, right? Because it's being broadcast electromagnetically. You know what I'm saying? It's being broadcast electromagnetically. I would be careful with stuff like Bluetooth and 5G. You know what I'm saying? If I was people, I would actually be careful with microwaves. You know what I'm saying? I'd actually be careful with microwaves if I was people. You know what I'm saying? I'd be very careful with some of these things. What is that thing called? I think it's called a Geiger counter. Is that correct? The Geiger counter that measures radiation. You can hear the ticks based on how much radiation there is. You guys should run some Geiger counters around on some things. You know what I'm saying? See what's going on. Now, check this out, right? There's a chemical. Now, it has nothing to do with radiation, but there's a chemical that's a carcinogen, right? Because a lot of people only equate, quote unquote, radiation with cancer, right? But that's not true. You know what I'm saying? There's other things that can cause, like, quote unquote, genetic malformations as well. One of these things is a common compound called a benzene ring. You know what I'm saying? So you guys should look and see if there's, chemicals or anything that you're around or anything that you eat or anything like that that has a free benzene ring in it. You might want to limit that stuff. You know what I'm saying? You might want to limit that stuff. Yeah, you know, you can look at the bottom of the plastics, right? Shout out to Al McCowan. You ever seen how they had a recycle symbol and it has letters like it'll say PS4 and then it's a recycle symbol? What that means is that it's polystyrene. You know what I'm saying? And it's a fourth level recycling, you know, polycarbon. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's other ones like BPA. What is BPA? What's that? Bimethyl poly something. I don't know. I used to know these things, but I forgot. But all of those branch chain polycarbons, you know what I'm saying? All of those branch chain, what do they call those? Yeah, polycarbons. You know, they break down real funny. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they have those numbers on there, because those numbers show how the plastics are supposed to be appropriately disposed, and people don't appropriately dispose of them. They just put them in the trash can. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. I appreciate you, Brooklyn Queen. Make sure you guys show Brooklyn Queen some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for Brooklyn Queen for funding the organization. Brooklyn Queen said, a vid of a 57-year-old came across my feed talking about her poor career choices, how broke she is, but she's keeping faith. 336,000 views and 22K broke mob responses and counting. Shared the link to Tales from the Cryptocurrency and TMI and kept it moving. Yeah. You know, I should make a fake video like that. You know what I'm saying? I should make a fake video like that and see what it do. What y'all think? See what it do. What y'all think? Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. I appreciate you, Brooklyn Queen. Make sure you guys show Brooklyn Queen some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for Brooklyn Queen for funding the organization, and she bought y'all lunch.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the march of dimes.
Don't push me, ain't Donald Trump trying to grab him by the... Said it was some Haitians somewhere out in Springfield. Women doing cartwheels.
Have you seen Garfield?
Have you seen Snowball? This about to snowball. I'm about to go off. But if you touch my dog, then I'm turning into John Wick. I'm lit. Bird better drop it. If you touch my pet, then I'm pulling up like Crossfire. Overseas where they said Hello Kitty, but it ain't there. It's right here in your city. When I turn my back, now the cat goes missing in the where my peoples is at. Does anybody know where he took with that? Cause I heard they putting claws on felines. I'm mad. And my cat disappeared just like Felix the cat. And then the cat got paid back. Thought she was a goner, but the cat came back. If you ain't a pussy cat, say drop that cat. Drop that cat. Drop that cat. Got paid back. Thought she was a...
Eating the dogs. Eat the cat.
Drop that cat.
Shout out to you, Brooklyn Queen. Look, check this out. You will see a lot of videos like that. And on top of it, besides seeing a lot of videos like that, you will see and hear a lot of people, you know, saying stuff like that. And like, you know, it's just like, I don't even know, you know, I don't even know what to say or do. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to John. John said, go ahead and do that, Rob, as a test. It would be hilarious. Look, I should do a video from a dumpster, like right in front of a dumpster, where you can see the waste management logo and everything, and be like, how Bitcoin landed me in this dumpster. Oh man, people would show their true colors, man. It'd be people that you thought was rocking with the channel the whole time, and they'd be like, aha, like, aha, you know what I'm saying? And you like, man, that's crazy, man. I thought we was cool, you know what I'm saying? You sitting up there with the aha. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Al McCowan. Al McCowan must have went and looked that stuff up. He said some of these chemicals' half-lives are crazy. Yeah, the polymers, bro. A lot of the polymers that's used in packet, like even like what's called quote unquote styrofoam, right? That's actually polystyrene. Oh yeah, shout out to Carlton. The I told you so's will come. We predicted this. Yeah, the whole, you know, the whole line of nonsense. The whole line of nonsense. And then it'd be like, yo, I'm just playing. The real reason why I'm standing by this The real reason why I'm standing by this dumpster is because Bitcoin went to $5 million and I just decided to buy Waste Management. So now that I got all these dumpsters across the United States, you guys can collect all the trash that you see on YouTube and just send it over to me, and we'll incinerate it in my new network of garbage disposals that I have nationwide. All right, shout out to Brooklyn Queen and the dumpster. The dumpster is the fake entrance to your underground garage, and then the top of the dumpster come off and like a Lamborghini all SUV comes flying out of it with fire coming out of the exhaust. You know what I'm saying? In a in a skull in a grill that's shaped like a skull. You know what I'm saying? What you say? I'd be like, what you say, boy? What you say, boy? Now, look, speaking of which, I wanted to ask y'all this question. How did y'all like that the video that I did? I'm gonna try to do some more videos if I can. You know what I'm saying? I just don't be having time for it all like that. You know what I'm saying? So now here said, Saylor continued with a claim. We're going to blow through the market cap of gold by a factor of 10. All right. While he couldn't pinpoint an exact timeline, he estimated these changes could unfold within 12 to 36 months, but added that he prefers a longer, more gradual increase. I hope it doesn't happen in 12 months because my view is the longer it takes, the more progressive the grind, the more time I have to buy more of it, he added. So the reason why Michael Saylor does not want his own bullish predictions to come true is because Michael Saylor wants to be able to buy more Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? Now look at this. Strategy has increased its Bitcoin holdings to 478,740 Bitcoin, following a purchase of 7,633 Bitcoin worth $742.4 million in the week ending February 9th. Now, I want you guys this goes to say a lot, right? I don't know why people ignore this, right? Now, look, I want y'all to look at this, right? Understand, right, that we're going to start talking about these kind of things in the most dehumanizing, devaluating way until people get it, right? Because people don't respond to civility, right? People don't respond to niceness. You know what I'm saying? People don't respond favorably when you're gentle with them. You know what I'm saying? People only respond to, like, you know, a Brazilian wax. You know what I'm saying? So what I want people to understand is that micro strategies, for the most part, every time they buy Bitcoin, they're buying the value of the target DEI strike. Actually, their Bitcoin purchases are probably more. If you guys would agree, every time MicroStrategies buys Bitcoin, for the most part, they're buying the amount of what would be allegedly pulled from Target with the DEI strike. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Now, here's my question, right? I want people to let that marinate, right? And I want people to answer this question. If MicroStrategies is throwing pocket change, and the pocket change is in the amount of DEI strike numbers, what do people actually think these quote-unquote DEI strikes are going to do to these large businesses that are larger than MicroStrategies? I'm pretty sure Target is larger than MicroStrategies. Somebody let me know. What's Target's market cap versus MicroStrategies market cap? So now, for the most part, you know what I'm saying? This DEI begging, it's taking a wet noodle, you know what I'm saying, to a giant metal robot and hitting it and saying, you better listen to me. You know what I'm saying? Like a giant robot's not going to listen to you from getting hit with a Nerf wet noodle. But, you know, keep on with it, right? Keep on with it. See what it do. The latest acquisition was made at an average price of $97,255 per Bitcoin, raising the company's overall average purchase price to $65,033 per Bitcoin. This purchase came after a brief pause in the previous week, likely due to a blackout period around the company's earnings report. On February 6th, MicroStrategy reported a fourth quarter net loss of $3.03 per share compared to a 50-cent per share profit a year earlier. All right. So look, I want you guys to look at the comments, right? This person right here, V-Leg, said this guy's lost his mind. He's delusional. $5 million. Yeah, right. This comment will be forever laughed at in infamy. Just like certain communities who don't touch Bitcoin will be. You know what I'm saying? Now, this person here says, well, when you loan a Bitcoin into the market at interest, let me see, what does it say here? So what it says here is, well, when you loan a Bitcoin into the market at interest, where does the other Bitcoin come from? If everyone is loaning their Bitcoin into the market at interest and there is a fixed number of Bitcoin, how do people pay off their loans? Now, you know, this is a real easy question to answer, right? More than likely, what will happen is there will probably be some sort of staking mechanism attached with the loaning mechanism, right? And so while the Bitcoin is being loaned, there will be some type of interest-bearing staking. And how it will get paid back is with the liquidity staking token, not with Bitcoin, which is another reason why, you know, I would be skeptical about quote-unquote loaning my Bitcoin out. This is what Samson Mao says, right? Samson Mao says Bitcoin will reach $1 million violently. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be torches and pitchforks and earthquakes and natural disasters and people running around with signs saying the end is near, and then boom, you know what I'm saying? Bitcoin will be $1 million. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be violent, but it's going to happen, according to, you know, Samson Mao. Now, what do you guys think about $1 million Bitcoin price within months? If you guys think that that's possible, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that that's possible, give me a thumbs down. I think anything is possible. The only thing is that there needs to be a viable pathway. Now, I think that all of these high prices for Bitcoin, they all have a viable pathway. However, in these cases, if you ask me, any Bitcoin prediction under $1 million, I would say is heavily based on Bitcoin's performance. Bitcoin predictions of $1 million and higher go beyond a Bitcoin prediction and start to depend on adoption and policy. And I think that because those have shared dependence, they're dependent on Bitcoin performance, and they're dependent on certain you know, things to be put into place by the government. Those are less likely to occur, right? Now, they could occur, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if it's a royal flush, right? But they're less likely to occur because they put the prediction realization into the hands of other factors other than Bitcoin's performance. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Black Free Thinker being a mod extraordinaire. I appreciate you, bro. Yo, if y'all haven't smashed the like button yet, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell. And also, please share the stream to your social media. Now, see, like this, check this out, right? Like, you know, if basketball was one-on-one, right? I would always say, for the most part, somebody like a Michael Jordan or LeBron James is going to always win, right? Because they don't have a team to depend on. You know what I'm saying? The team contribution is not going to contribute, right? Now, the team contribution can be contributing to a win, right? Or it can be contributing to a loss. You know what I'm saying? So this is why I'm saying, a lot of these predictions that are under $1 million, I think those have a higher likelihood of coming true because for one, they're lower, right? And for two, because those are predictions that would be solely based on Bitcoin present and historical price behavior, price performance. Anything that's contingent on outside adaptation, policy being made, there's not really, Bitcoin can't really influence those things. You know what I'm saying? So I would say that those would be a little bit, less likely, a little bit more of a challenge, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? So January 3rd, or I'm sorry, Jan 3, my bad. CEO Samson Mao predicts Bitcoin will surge to $1 million violently, driven by nation state adoption, sovereign debt issuance, and accelerating hyper Bitcoinization, which we see this, right? We see all of these things. You know what I'm saying? It's just that people aren't looking at it, right? But we see all of these things. Let me ask you guys this question. Out of all of these things that Samson Mao and out of all of these things that Michael Saylor said, which of these things are not happening? Is there any of this stuff that's not happening? Or is all of this stuff happening? Let me know. Bitcoin advocate Samson Mao, CEO of Jan 3, has reiterated his prediction that Bitcoin will reach $1 million by 2025. Now, you guys remember Samson Mao is the Omega candle and the God candle guy. We saw the one Omega candle when Bitcoin just said, and it went up like, I don't know, I want to say like $8,000 that day to push it over $100,000. And nobody talked about it. It wasn't on the news or anything. You know what I'm saying? He noted that this surge won't be gradual, right? But it'll be rather a rapid escalation occurring over weeks or months. If you look at the failure of fiat currencies, they don't gradually fail. They fail spectacularly. And this is the premise behind the $1 million Bitcoin call, that is not going to be gradual or a slow increase to $1 million a coin, but a rather very short and violent upheaval that sends us there in a matter of weeks to months, he said in a podcast. Is going to be lava. Anytime there's violence and chaos, somehow there's always like just random volcanoes and lava. So, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be lava all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Volcanoes are going to be spewing. It's going to be wild. Mao points to the increasing involvement of nations, right? Nations in Bitcoin mining as a key indicator of this impending, quote unquote, hyper Bitcoinization. You know what I'm saying? Look at this. Look at all these price predictions. Eric Trump predicts Bitcoin will surge 1,000% to 1 million. Bitcoin headed for 2 million, says Jan 3 CEO, which that's Samson Mao. He's revisiting his $1 million forecast. So he's saying that his forecast, this one that we're currently reading about, is conservative. Largest bank in U.S. reveals nearly $1 million holdings in spot Bitcoin ETFs. Let me ask you guys this question. And again, do you guys notice how when the solidifying evidence is presented, the live chat number goes down? Do you guys notice that? I've never seen such an opposition to information. I've never seen such an opposition to reality. Like I say all the time, it's bizarre. You know what I'm saying? It's bizarre. Hyper Bitcoinization refers to a scenario where Bitcoin becomes the dominant global currency, replacing traditional fiat currencies as the primary medium of exchange and store of value. All right. He cites Bhutan's Bitcoin holdings accumulating through mining over the past few years as a prime example. If this is not an indication that hyper Bitcoinization is coming, I'm not really sure what is, Mao asserts. Okay. He also anticipates that countries will soon issue sovereign debt to acquire Bitcoin, drawing parallels to MicroStrategy's strategy of leveraging debt to purchase the cryptocurrency. It's just a matter of time before a country pulls that trigger and unleashes a torrent of sovereign debt to acquire Bitcoin, Mao predicts. Okay. I mean, like, let me ask you guys this question. What's stopping countries? What's stopping countries from doing the MicroStrategies model? What's stopping countries from doing the MicroStrategies model? I wouldn't disagree with Katsy. If you guys agree with Katsy, give me a thumbs up. If you disagree with Katsy, give me a thumbs down. Katsy says they can't stand hearing about the keys to success. If they are successful, they will have nothing to bitch about. Yeah. And like we've already established, right, through evidence and data, there's a large amount of people who define their very existence through their complaints. You know what I'm saying? Struggle culture. You know what I'm saying? That's literally what some political parties appeal to, and the people they appeal to, you know, they're so lost in the sauce, they you know, they just let it, you know, they don't know. They just be like, okay. So now, as of February 11th, Bitcoin is trading at approximately $96,831, reflecting a 0.88% increase from the previous day and a substantial 102.1% rise from its price of $48,189 1 year ago. Okay. And at this price right here, at 48,000, people were saying it's too expensive. I'll wait for it to go down. Let me ask you guys this something to the people who said that it was too expensive at 48,000. How did that work out for you, waiting for it to go down? How did it work out? Did you get what you were looking for? You know what I'm saying? Over the past month, Bitcoin has experienced a 2.39% increase, opening at $93,756.77 and reaching a high of $108,786 on January 20th. And now, if you pay very close attention, they keep talking crazy about Bitcoin, right? But Bitcoin is actually trading at a low very close to its all-time high. Now, look at these prices up top here before we go elsewhere, right? It's Solana at $168. That's what I'm talking about right there. Now, shout out to my man Fomosaki. Fomosaki said he ain't touching Solana until they go down to $100. Till they go down to $100. Hey, you know what I'm saying? I'll tell you what, I'm not ignoring no Solana at $100, but you know, I don't know that. I don't know if it's gonna go to $100 or not. But if it do, I'm right there with you. But you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to grab up a little bit of this right here. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to grab up a little bit of that there. You know what I'm saying? Now look at Dogecoin under a quarter is not a bad deal. You know what I'm saying? It's not a bad deal. You know what I'm saying? I have no idea what checks is. The only checks that I know about is the cereal. You know what I'm saying? Now look at Bitcoin at 95,000. Bitcoin is at $95,000. You know what I'm saying? So you already know with Bitcoin, we're dealing with that threshold, right? Shout out to my man Detroit 313. What's good with it, bro? We dealing with that threshold with Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? So you know it is what it is. Now it's 94,996. So yeah, if we under 100,000, bet. I'm not gonna lie, man. With this Ethereum price at 2,651, I've been buying Ethereum. I've been buying Ethereum. I'm about to buy some more Solana, and I'm about to buy some more XRP, especially Solana, for real, for real. Out of everything, I'm gonna do the regular that I be doing with Bitcoin and Ethereum, but I'm about to go ham on Solana. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie to you. At $168, you know what I'm saying? At $168, listen, man. Solana looking like a snack. How you doing? You know what I'm saying? Solana looking like a snack. How you doing? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Solana looking like a snack. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, your girl Kathy Woods, right? Modern woman. You know what I'm saying? But Kathy Woods, an alright modern woman, though. She alright. You know what I'm saying? She alright. She running her company. She doing her thing. You know what I'm saying? Like this like she doing what a modern woman, an actual modern woman should do. You know what I'm saying? Just like Pam Bondi. You know what I'm saying? Like Pam Bondi, a modern woman. You know what I'm saying? But like that's what a modern woman should be doing. Like if you're gonna dedicate to your career, be the best at your career. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be a social media clown. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Kathy Woods is for sure a modern woman, but you know what I'm saying? She's providing value. You know what I'm saying? She's providing value. Most modern women, they think that they're people like Kathy Woods and they think that they're people like Pam Bondi, but they're not. They're just pollution. You know what I'm saying? So ARK Invest CEO, because yeah, Kathy Woods, the modern female CEO, you know what I'm saying? She says that Bitcoin is going to hit 1.5 million as adoption surges. So everybody, for the most part, like all of these bullish predictions, right? All of these bullish predictions are very, very close to each other. You know what I'm saying? Samson Mao and, you know, even Michael Saylor. The near term and the long term predictions are very, very similar. Let me ask you guys this question. What does that tell you? What do you guys think about that? Kathy Woods predicts Bitcoin could soar to $1.5 million, citing, and she's citing a lot of the same factors that Michael Saylor cited, right? Growing institutional adoption and the expanding role of digital assets. Now, you know, I tend to listen a little bit to Kathy Woods. And the reason why I listen to Kathy Woods a little bit is because she's not a Bitcoin maximist. You know what I'm saying? Michael Saylor is a Bitcoin maximist. You know what I'm saying? And he'll tell you that. He'll say it. Like, I'm not, this ain't no accusation. Like, you know what I'm saying? But Kathy Woods is she's not a Bitcoin maximist. You know what I'm saying? She assesses other cryptocurrencies as well. You know what I'm saying? So now ARK Invest CEO and CIO Kathy Woods remains highly bullish on Bitcoin, predicting that its price could reach 1.5 million, driven by institutionalization of crypto assets. Speaking about ARK Invest's Big Ideas 2025 report, Woods emphasized Bitcoin's evolving role in investment portfolios. Now, let me ask you guys this question. How many people read ARK Invest's Big Ideas 2025 report? Now, you know, shout out to the people in here, right? I'm sure, you know, many people in here at the very least glossed it over or at the very least know about it. But, you know, let's just keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? If most people didn't read this. Now, you know, we got to ask this question, right? We got to ask this question. Why is it that when people like Warren Buffett come out and make a comment about Bitcoin, or they come out and make a comment about cryptocurrency, everybody, some people, right, take that comment and run with it as if it's law? But then when other people, right, when other people who in theory, right, do or should have just as much influence as a Warren Buffett come out and make their statements about cryptocurrency, no one repeats that. Do you guys notice that all of the people that repeat the Warren Buffett talking points about crypto being a scam, they never assess what a Michael Saylor or a Kathy Woods has to say? You guys notice that? Why is that? Why is that, guys? Cat got their tongue? You know what I'm saying? Like Springfield, right? Many people know us for our bull case, 1.5 million. And we actually think the odds have gone up. Look, the odds have gone up that our bull case will be the right number because of what is becoming the institutionalization of this new asset class, she said. And again, I really wish that people wouldn't do this. It's not a new asset class because you just now learned about it. You know what I'm saying? This is what they do, though, right? This is what they do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be something that was around forever. Everybody was using it. And then as soon as they come around, it got discovered. So, you know, with the world narrative, how it is, literally there could be all this stuff going on. It doesn't count as being in existence until a European person comes in contact with it and acknowledges it. It could be there for years. You know what I'm saying? You can have a whole entire culture of people using Sanskrit to calculate, you know, equations. And it's not until Fibonacci touched it and saw it that it was real. You know what I'm saying? Bitcoin has been around at the very least for 15 years. At the very least for 10 years, right? It's not a real asset class until Cathie Woods or until Michael Saylor. Like, you know what I'm saying? America is the new world, right? Despite the fact that there was already people here. You know what I'm saying? This is a common pattern with them folks. Nothing exists until they touch it. That's a new asset class. It's really not. I can show you cryptocurrency purchases that I have going back to 2017. But things don't become real when I touch them. Right? Things only become real when one of them folks touch them. I'm saying does everybody see that? Does everybody understand that? And the thing that's problematic about that is that people buy into that and add fuel into that by not making people great. So anytime anybody gets upset about that being a thing, just before you get upset, ask yourself the question, well, you know, who have I contributed to making great? And if there's nobody on that list, you know what I'm saying? I would say get a refund on your outrage. You know what I'm saying? That's why that's like that. You know what I'm saying? That's why that's like that. There's already people rapping. You know what I'm saying? There's already people doing hip hop. It's not a real thing until them folks make money off of it. Like, when are people going to stop this blatantly obvious cycle? You know what I'm saying? This is non-existence existence. You know what I'm saying? And the people that contribute, see, like, it's a symbiotic relationship, and the people that contribute to it the most, right? The biggest contributors to it are the people that complain about it the most. So, you know, I mean, who can take the complaining serious? You know what I'm saying? Complain about it, then contribute to it. You know what I'm saying? I don't like burning my hand on the stove, but then I turn the heat on and throw my hand on the stove. Look, it's burning. Like, you know what I'm saying? Why do people do that? Why don't people point that out more? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't have, like I said, I don't have any answers anymore. You know what I'm saying? I don't have any answers anymore. I don't know if it would matter if I did. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, right? I could have no answers or I could have all the answers. I don't know if either would change the situation. Right? I could have all the answers or I could have zero answers. Neither is a determinant of whether the current situation would change. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said, very symbiotic relationship. Yeah, Columbus didn't come over here by himself. Yeah, facts. Yeah, bro, that's the see that right there. Shout out to Black Free Thinker. That's what I'm talking about. Black free thinker says seek white validation, yet use white supremacy as the ultimate trump card. It's the Infinity Gauntlet, bro. It's the white gem. You know what I'm saying? On the Infinity Gauntlet. It's the one that goes over the back of your hand. You know what I'm saying? Because you know the Infinity Stones is on the knuckles. You know what I'm saying? So the pearl, right? The ivory Infinity Stone, you know what I'm saying, is fitted firmly across the top of the hand of the glove. I ain't mad at it. Shout out to More Ovaltine, please. Hey, yo, you buying that on the dip, right? Shout out to More Ovaltine. More Ovaltine said my total today is 22 Trump coins. That's not bad, bro. Make sure you always hit that on the lowest price, though. Try to hit everything on the lowest price if you can. You know what I'm saying? But see, and shout out to Black Free Thinker. This validation is parallel with, you know what I'm saying, the reality printing, right? It's parallel with the reality printing. So you have an entire world that follows this model of nothing exists until these people touch it. The sun doesn't exist until these people touch it. I discovered the sun. No, you didn't. The sun's been there. You know what I'm saying? I discovered this black hole. It's always been in the center of the universe. It's always been in the center of the galaxy. What are you talking about? I discovered the Fibonacci sequence. I discovered the Fibonacci sequence while, you know, people that speak Sanskrit were using it. You know what I'm saying? I discovered America when there was other people here. You can even tell this bastardized version of the definition of discovery the way that it's used in court. Well, here's the discovery of evidence. It's not a discovery of evidence. It's a presentation of evidence. You didn't discover any of this stuff. The stuff is already, you can't discover something that's already in existence. It's a presentation of evidence. It's a presentation of fact-finding. Now, we'll call it a discovery because this is how we discover things. There's no standard on whether something has to be out of existence or in existence for us people to say that we discovered it. You know what I'm saying? And then, right, a small amount of them go by that rule of law, and then 80% of the population backs them up on it, and then turns around and cries about it. Why is it like this? Again, this is one of the reasons I can't do it anymore. I can't do it. I can't do it with either party. You know what I'm saying? I can't do the stupid stuff with them. I can't do the stupid stuff with us. I can't do either one. And let's not fool anybody. You know what I'm saying? These mirror images of these, you know, cultural bizarre elements, these reflecting elements are proof that there is some sort of link. You know what I'm saying? These cultures are all the same. The only difference is the environment that they take place in. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's funny how, you know, Kendrick Lamar came out with that song talking about they not like us. I would go as far as to say that everybody is a clone of everybody else. And the only reason why we see any differences is because of the environment that these things are in. You know what I'm saying? You could have a human being on the planet Earth and you could have a human being on the planet Mars, and those human beings would manifest different. And the reason why the human beings would manifest different is because of a different environment. You got a low oxygen, low pressure environment on Mars. So, you know, generations of people would look different, but they're still human, still had the same DNA. On Earth, the conditions are created, you know, specifically for humanity. So, you know, the conditions would be optimized, right? You have this particular culture, right, that operates within a financial constrained environment, a financially constrained environment. So as a result, you see this culture and what happens when it's in a financially constrained environment. This is one of the reasons why people make that silly talking point. And Thomas Sowell wrote that book, you know, where he's talking about the similarities between, quote unquote, you know, Southern culture, quote unquote, and other cultures, which is not Southern culture. It's trailer park culture too. right? And you'll even hear some people say, "Oh, you know, they be like us." Okay, I guess they'd be like, I didn't, but sure, if that's what you want to say, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, right? You know, people like Eminem that live on 8 Mile and stuff like that. Oh, you know, they be moving like we do. I mean, I guess I don't know. You know what I'm saying? You know, your boy Robert Smith, right? The millionaire, he don't move like that, but okay. You know what I'm saying? They say they be moving like us. Okay. Right. But then the other culture, which is the exact same, and I can show evidence that it's the exact same, operates in a financial euphoria. So the manifestation of that culture is different because the environment is different. You know what I'm saying? But it's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same as if you plant a seed. You could plant a seed in a dry desert area, right? And then you could plant a seed, you know, in a swampy marsh, you know what I'm saying, a wetland, right? And it'll be the same plant, but it'll grow different. The fruit be smaller in the desert area. Why would the fruit be smaller? Because it's less water. You know what I'm saying? The plant would be bigger, right? And the leaves would be bigger, right? But the stems would probably be smaller, right? And, you know, in the wetland, the marsh, you know what I'm saying? The fruit will be huge. You know, the plant will probably be a little bit smaller, you know, thick vines and thick limbs, right? Because of the prevalence of water and minerals in the soil. You know what I'm saying? But when you're dealing with sand and you're dealing with high temperatures, you need large surface area leaves to absorb all the sun and provide shade, right? And you need thin branches to not waste the little bit of water that they have. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, yeah, that's my theory. You know what I'm saying? Now, you know, a lot of times when it comes to everything, people like to make themselves seem like they're more, you know, special or extravagant or unique than they actually are. You know what I'm saying? I mean, me personally, I think that the fact that the DNA strand exists debunks the uniqueness of people across each other. I think that the fact that there's a universal blueprint, you know what I'm saying, for the most part, and if you take the percentage difference between each human being, I would go as far as to argue there's no difference between anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like if there's, I think if I'm not mistaken, somebody check this if I'm wrong. The Human Genome Project found that there's like a 0.0006 difference genetically between humans and chimpanzees. So if that small amount is the genetic difference between humans and chimpanzees, then that means that like the difference between a human and another human, it has to be like 0.1 millionth. Which at that point, 0.1 millionth, that would be an acceptable difference in variation and standard deviation on any quality control standard as a product being the exact same. So there's no difference between anybody, despite the fact that, you know, what people gaslight each other and say. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Carl. Shout out to Carlton Wake. Make sure y'all hit the button. Carlton said, hit the button. Here go my thing, right? That button is actually the world is correct button. You know what I'm saying? This is one of the reasons why, like, yo, I'll throw something out there and I'll be like, yo, prove me wrong. Now, you know, if I throw something, I want people to understand how they've been trained, right? Understand how they've been trained. I'll say something, and this right here, this is the rolling. This is one of the reasons why things don't improve. Do you guys understand? We have a comedian culture. We have a comedian culture. You know what I'm saying? We are amongst a bunch of people who treat valuable people opposite of the way the rest of the world treats valuable people. It's really fascinating. You know what I'm saying? Amongst us, we destroy valuable people. We degrade valuable people. We render valuable people's input and opinion completely useless to where the wider audience doesn't listen to these people at all. And then when these people take their talents to South Beach, literally everyone lies and says, why doesn't that person mess with us? And then when you do further research, you see the first people that person was messing with was You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Hurricane. What's good with a Hurricane? But that's never brought up, though. Now, you know, so what else we do is we do the opposite of that. People that are corny, degenerate, losers, failures, dumb as possible, lowest possible IQ, have the greatest access to reproduction, and they have the greatest access to being an influence. So not only does the genetic part of the idiocy continue, right, but the verbal and written part continue as well. Shout out to Hurricane. Hurricane said, "Hey, Rob, been working, but listening to the to the button. These are my favorite moments, bro, because it's true, and no one else will say it. No one else will say it. Now, you know, anywhere else, right? If you look out into the world, it's the actual opposite. People who are intelligent are highly regarded. People who are successful are highly regarded. You know what I'm saying? People who are successful are given and supported to where they themselves become a platform for ideas and innovation. That generates them money, and in turn, the generation to money grants them unlimited reproductive access, right? People ask the question, well, Elon Musk has 13 kids. Well, Elon Musk was made great, and he can afford 13 kids. What's the child support when you're the richest man in the world? You know what I'm saying? What's the child support cost per month when you're the richest man in the world? How did you become the richest man in the world? You know what I'm saying? Apartheid. Well, you know what I'm saying? That's culture, right? Separation culture. Nobody sit there and tell us to have a share culture, right? But they have a separation culture, and the rest of the world follows that separation culture, and they made it great. We have we have a anti-wealth culture. Literally, I see these videos. Shout out to TD. TD made these videos that came out last year where he showed the video about the pie, and it had Uncle Sam giving a pie, and everybody else got a piece of the pie, and like the black person didn't get a piece of the pie. That is anti-wealth. The belief that you're supposed to split assets amongst a bunch of people is anti-wealth. The shared culture is anti-wealth culture. If I got one Bitcoin, right, and I utilize the culture, right, the culture is I got to share this Bitcoin with everybody. So that takes my Bitcoin amount from, if I got a full Bitcoin and I got 5 people I got to share it with, that's 20,000 people a pop. And then I sit there and ask myself why I'm broke. Why am I broke? Well, because you believe in sharing your Bitcoin. Share it with everybody. Share your culture. You know what I'm saying? Let's share hip hop. Let's share. Nobody should have ever came up with the idea or thought process that anybody had a problem with WS. During the time when everybody thought that people had these problems with WS, I don't know what in God's name anybody was thinking about. And I don't know where this talking point comes from when people say, well, we helped them get their rights. I don't see Ben Crump's signature on any of those USCIS court rulings where all of these other groups that we allegedly helped to get rights actually got granted white status by U.S. Customs and Immigration Services. I don't see it. How did we help them do that? We helped these other groups of people. We didn't help them other groups of people get designated as white. You know what I'm saying? Did we? Somebody help me here. I'm having one of those moments where I'm accurately remembering history. You know what I'm saying? I always hear this quote unquote, if it wasn't for us talking point. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for us, what? if it wasn't for us, about extends to they wouldn't have a place to house their low-cost extortionary businesses in. You know what I'm saying? That's the only if it wasn't for us. Because, again, show me where we had any contribution to Indians winning the court case to designate that in the United States they're white. Show me where we had any contribution to particular Latinos winning court cases here in the United States that designates them as white. Show me where we had any contribution to where Syrians won court cases here in the United States, like Dow versus the United States, that designates them as quote unquote culturally white. Show me where we had anything to do with that. You know what I'm saying? They got to, I mean, these things took place in court. You know what I'm saying? So it's court transcripts that are available to where we could read it, right? And we've actually already read the Dow versus the United States one in the case of Syrian people, when we had to run it back up the line when the conservative people were trying to say that Boulder, Colorado shooter, they tried to we not like us him. They tried to, remember when that dude in Boulder, Colorado shot up that grocery store? And they and the Steven Crowders and Actual Justice Warrior and all them tried to come out and they not like us, him. And then we had to run it back down the line like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know your nose is thin as a razor blade and you talk like this, but that doesn't mean that every time you say something, it's 100%. Here goes the papers from the court case that this government ruled on that designated this individual as one of y'all. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, of course, as always, you know what I'm saying? Nobody else said anything about that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else just everybody else just did the same thing that they always do. We're just going to make a designation and then we're just going to throw it on top of the desk the way somebody overweight throws their belly into the car before they sit in it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, there was that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Hurricane. Hurricane said, no, that part we didn't do. At least I hope not, because that would make us look stupid. Not so. Right. You know what I'm saying? So my question, why do people say that then? Why do people say that stuff? If it wasn't for us, they wouldn't have got the if it wasn't for us, they wouldn't have got their court ruling to be designated white. If it wasn't for us, you know what I'm saying? Like they wouldn't have, they would have expanded their army of WSs. Now they got some colored ones, some people of color. Like, I don't understand. Somebody help me. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure, right? I'm pretty sure no one helped anybody with their court case to designate their ethnicity as white. I'm damn near almost 100% sure that none of contributed to that, which thank goodness, right? But do you guys remember when we did the live stream and we talked about Kamala Harris and we ran down the line about the case where the people from India utilized the point that they're culturally Aryan to qualify as white here in the United States, and it got thrown out maybe 2 or 3 times, and then appeals court finally accepted it. Do you guys remember that? Now, shout out to Dre D. Dre D says the legal precedent set they used to support their argument, us the premise. What premise about us could they use to qualify themselves as white? I don't understand. Shout out to you, bro. What's good with it? Now, in that particular case that I'm talking about, as far as Indians go, the premise for that case was in the region where I'm from, the people there are culturally Aryan. Aryans are culturally considered white in the United States. This is our logic for winning the court case. None of these people fought to be black. The only one that fought to be black was Mindy's brother. And he didn't fight to be black. He just ran a scam and everybody bought it. He even fooled other black people, because if you think it wasn't no black people working at that college, you know what I'm saying, you wrong. And as far as quote unquote fooling black people go, we know that there's a long history of ease of access to fooling black people. Like that's, you know what I'm saying? Like that's not even an accomplishment. You know what I'm saying? To be honest, right? Because we have the admissions of people not knowing the difference between, you know, other cultural black people versus black Americans. That's on the books. People have made 2-3 years of content about that. So that's that, you know what I'm saying? That's there, right? And then there's all the issues with hip hop, right? So, you know, we can't sit there and say, you know, we have this identification system to where, you know, we know who people are. Now, you know, some people may, right? You know, shout out to the people from the Midwest, shout out to the people from the South, shout out to the people from California. You know, for the most part, you know, there's none of that is off or confused with none of us, right? But there seems to be a clear contingent of other people, right? Especially a lot of them largely concentrated on social media, that kind of had issues in that regard, and the evidence is out there. These people have spoken for everyone else, so these people have established the groundwork and laid the evidence behind the claim that, you know, there's no ease of access, or there's no difficulty of access to quote unquote fooling us. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, my thing as far as this goes is that when it comes to so that's the Indian case, right? So then when it comes to the Syrian case, their case for whiteness was based on the fact that Syria is a country in the Middle East that is friendly to Christians, and they allow Christians. And in the United States, in many instances, interestingly, right, Christianity is associated, you know, with white people, which is interesting. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of, you know, community expulsion occurs, you know, based on, you know, the definition of what a quote unquote heathen is, which heathen, don't get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? That comes from Abrahamic religion. That's biblical. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, shout out to Black free thinkers. Syrians have their own Orthodox church. So, you know, my thing is, where does all of this stuff come from? We literally, this is evidence, right? There's no standard of information integrity. You can just blurt out and say anything, and it doesn't have to be true. And then when there is somebody that says something true, the person that says something true they have to be discredited, and they have to be expelled. And the reason why they have to be discredited and they have to be expelled is because that person that says the true things at some point might go rogue, and he might start saying true things about these people who are major influences that have been hiding behind the mask the entire time. So we have to get rid of that person. So then the cycle of misinformation continues to spread. So, you know, there's a difference. These are reasons why these things continue. You know what I'm saying? The ease of access to support and reproductive tools of the idiot, you know what I'm saying? The moron, the dumbass, right? In comparison to, you know, where that person should actually have restricted access to the entire community. They shouldn't have ease of access to reproductive tools and methods, ease of access to influence, because what are they doing? They're genetically creating idiots, and they're spreading misinformation. Never is the most intelligent person the most attractive. The most intelligent, most innovative people have the least reproductive access, which means that intelligence, if intelligence is indeed a factor of genetics, literally nobody should have a problem with the understanding of why it doesn't multiply. When intelligence is a repulsion instead of an attraction, and intelligence is looked at as repulsive, and there's a difficult access to reproduction for intelligent people, whether they be men or whether they be women. I mean, that should be common sense. That's why intelligence doesn't reproduce. When there's a glazing of idiocy, when there's a support of idiocy and an abundance of access to reproduction to degenerates, you know what I'm saying? I don't understand what people don't understand about how the world is correct. We literally see this stuff, live it, watch it all the time. But then we can move into a disassociative state and say, if you say, why is the world the way that it is, you're in a disassociative state. You're denying reality. You're denying reality. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. I mean, my thing is, what I just laid out here, these are the problems. Why do things not get any better? Because these things never get addressed. So there's, as of right now, February 18th, 2025, it's absurd to have expectations of improvement system-wide, if you ask me. That's just ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just, why would anybody, where's evidence that there's any improvement in anything? Not even any, we're not even at the recognition stage. You know, there's a couple different stages to problem solving. We're not even at the recognition stage. You know, there's a recognition stage. You have to recognize that there's a problem. We're not even at the recognition stage. Somebody explain to me how you solve a problem if you can't even recognize it. You can't even recognize it. We're going to solve this problem. How you going to solve it? You don't recognize it. So, you know, again, all of these things are things that people can deal with, or these are things that people can continue to act like don't exist. Yeah. I mean, shout out to Hurricane. Hurricane said, agreed. We're still at the problem and problem creation stage. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you got people running around aggressively yelling at people that 1 + 1 = 2. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, like, not to burst your bubble or anything, but, you know, like, I was there. You know what I'm saying? I was there 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, I was there 30 years ago. Like, I mean, you know, congratulations, I guess. The true reason, one of the true reasons why you don't see the large Bitcoin adoption is because of coward culture, safe culture. You guys notice everybody goes around and the biggest talking point is everybody wants protection. We need to be protected. We need to be protected. If you need to be protected, you know what I'm saying, you're basically saying you can't protect yourself. You know what I'm saying, we need to be protected. That if you need to be, another thing that you need to be protected means is that you have a very low risk tolerance, which is fascinating because there's some people that sell drugs which you can risk either getting killed or getting put in jail, but you won't risk $100 on buying a Bitcoin. There's no standard for rationalization amongst the majority. You know what I'm saying? We need protection. Who gonna do the protecting? Think about this, right? We need protection, right? We asking for protection. We need protection. Who are we asking protection from? You know, what if somebody said, you know, you were protected on them plantations? What if somebody said that? Would that be a true statement or would that be a false statement? You had protection on them plantations. You know what I'm saying? If somebody tried to steal you, somebody would come out the house with a musket. There was fences that locked you in. Now that's some shit Byron Donald would say. You know what I'm saying? That's some shit Tim Scott would say. That's some shit Candace Owens and you know, Officer Tatum would say. they would put those things out there, you know what I'm saying, for the maggots in their comment section to repeat. And then once the maggots in the comment section start repeating it, you have to then ask yourself the question, well, if we're not protecting ourselves, who are we asking to protect us? Yeah, if we're not protecting ourselves, then we're sounding like we're banging for that plantation protection. Because who's protecting us? You know what I'm saying? We need the White House to write something up. What, like the Emancipation Proclamation type shit? Civil Rights Amendment type shit? So, all of these things are consistent. And a lot of times, a lot of times people be taking a knife to a gunfight. A lot of times, people just be running the opposite direction on the racetrack and handing the other people going the right direction the baton. Like, I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what like. How many points we scored for the other team is crazy. They would have been they would have kicked if any NBA team or any football team scored the amount of points for the other team that be going on around here, bro, they put that like that. We will be playing against the Harlem Globetrotters and shit like that from here on out. You playing in the comedy league now. You playing in the what do they call the league that the Harlem Globetrotters play in? The comedy basketball league. You in the comedy league. You ain't even in the G League. You in the comedy league. You putting the ball all on your head like a seal, putting it in the basket on the other side of the court. Like, man, what you doing? So, and then, somebody would be like, yo, what's wrong with you, Rob, for talking about this? There's nothing wrong with me for talking about this. There's something wrong with people creating this situation. You know what I'm saying? Something wrong with people creating a situation. I didn't create the situation. Literally nothing would exist the way that it exists today if people listen to things that I say. So why should I stop saying anything? But people have been on a failing course with a idiotic track record for centuries, right? But somebody should stop talking about that. I don't understand that. Somebody help me out. I don't understand how that works. We're going towards a 2053 zero median wealth. I'm going to talk about how stupid people are for not investing in assets that provide a hedge from inflation. I'm going to talk about how stupid you are. Okay, you need to stop talking about how stupid people are. Sure. 2053 gets here. Didn't nobody tell us about this? But in 2025, I was told I need to stop talking about how stupid people are. The only people that have any need for concern are right here. Literally nobody has any need to be concerned about anything we got going on because there's nothing going on. Like, it's crazy. I want y'all to understand how insane, how inhumanly immature, and how stupid this is. This is stupid that you have to tell people, yo, save your money so that you have something for the future. The we need generational wealth mob has to be forced to strategize for generational wealth. Like, you can't justify this anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't justify this anywhere. Shout out to RY. What's good with it, RY? In fact, Dogecoin has gone down to 25 cents. That's a great price for Doge. Not as good as it was in 2017, but we'll take it, right? So I want people to understand, like, what people really need to do is people need to expand the couch movement. When you hear people talking about generational wealth and all this, man, sit that shit out, man. Sit on the couch. Do like me, sit on the couch. Shout out to Mastermind Hour. Mastermind Hour said, I was going to invest in Merkin coin, but I was afraid the rug pull would leave me exposed. Do you invest in Bitcoin, bro? Man, listen, shout out to AB Promotions. Party and bullshit and party and bullshit. Hey. In 2053, we're gonna be playing that KRS song. Them people over, them people over Bitcoin buy. Them people over. Hey yo, I walk up in the spot with a bunch of Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? I walk up in the spot with a bunch of Bitcoin. About to order steak and tenderloin. Everybody else talking about they broke. I'm listening to my music and I hear it on the amps. I'm paying with the card, you paying with food stamps. You know what I'm saying? I mean, hey, man, I don't know what to say except for, you know, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? The eternal roast is on. You know what I'm saying? The eternal roast is on. Shout out to Hurricane. Hurricane said, we only have 28 years left and they'll go by quickly. This is why I don't care about the majority anymore, because they showed me they don't care either. Bro, once your eyes are opened, they'll never close. Everything you see will be ugly from there on out. You know what I'm saying? That's why, you know, like I said, like I told people, man, my eyes are open. And they'll never be shut ever again. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said, I just mind my business and buy crypto. Facts. Buying crypto is the business. Buying crypto is the business. You know what I'm saying? And listen, man, I'm not trying to be funny, man. Like, people who are cryptocurrency investors need to go around other cryptocurrency. Like, you need to separate yourself and get away from these idiots. You know, like, I'm not trying to be funny, man. This is what I'm saying about, like, when Trump was talking about getting Greenland and all that. Get a big cryptocurrency backed community in Greenland with nothing but smart and intelligent people, and not let anybody else in that community, not let anybody else in there at all. If you're an idiot or you can't pass certain tests, or you don't have certain financial you don't have certain financial requirements, you're not allowed in. You're not allowed in. And people can sit there and talk about us and elitism, whatever they want. You're not allowed in. You're not polluting our financial pool, and you're definitely not polluting the gene pool. We have to completely redo our DNA because of years of Xerox copying morons. Genetic Xerox copying of morons. You know what I'm saying? So you know, if you don't fit the criteria, you know, for the most part, like this voluntary, this would be a voluntary, willing, something similar to a organic eugenics program, because that's what's necessary. It's been an ongoing eugenics program to manufacture a 80-20 majority of just useless machines. That's been a eugenics program, and people don't see it. The eugenics warfare. They have entire breeding farms for morons that are government funded called the projects. You know what I'm saying? It's a reproduction factory for people of the consumer culture, people of the employment class. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing but a breeding ground. It's a government-funded setup breeding ground to create subpar, mediocre people to fund the government's needs of consumerism. You know what I'm saying? And people, they don't get it. They don't see it. What do? They just go there and eat and make babies all damn day. You know what I'm saying? Which is what it is. Listen, it is a government baby making factory. You know what I'm saying? You know it's a government baby making factory because then the government provides you with WIC. You know what I'm saying? Food to feed your little future loser. You know what I'm saying? But and then right now they'll put this out here. They'll offer you and say, hey, look, we can give you these government grants to go to college. You can go to school. You can do XYZ, yada, yada, yada. We'll pay for you to get tuition with a Pell Grant. But they know that nobody's going to utilize that stuff because by the time they get old enough to take advantage of that type of stuff, they've already failed in school and they already are starting out in a junior life of crime. It's all mapped out, man. It's all a plan. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to RY. RY says reading scores have been the lowest in this country in 3 decades. Facts. And the very people that can't read got the nerve to tell somebody else to speak English when they can hardly speak English. They can't even spell or write. And then they hear somebody with an accent and they say, speak English. You can't even read. You ain't even pass your proficiency test. Who you telling to speak English? Sit your ass down somewhere. Sit your ass down somewhere and go mop floors next to that person that you just said speak English to. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where we're at. You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. Somebody gonna put their chest out and say speak English, and they can't even spell a 3-letter word or put together a sentence. And then they pick up the same broom at the same place as the person that they just told to speak English. Like, come on, man. Yeah, shout out to RY. Facts, and more facts. It's depressing to see it firsthand every day. And it is. It's enraging. It's infuriating. I don't know what's more enraging or more infuriating. The fact that I see it every day or the fact that I know like 95% of people act like they don't see it. Do you know, listen, there's a tactic that people subconsciously do. It's like mob mentality, right? It's like, you know, people start to operate on this telepathic type level of subconsciousness where they don't know that they're doing it, right? You know, like if it wasn't, do you guys notice how there's never any new people in the chat? If we were somewhere else, the majority of people would try to reverse gaslight us and act like the factual information that we're talking about is not true. They would say it's not true. They would sit there and say none of those court cases that you talked about ever existed. And everybody in their comment section would cheer it on. The court cases do exist. Like there's docket numbers and everything. Like, what are you talking about? Well, it's not what I want to hear at the moment. And I have more support than you because I say dumb shit and there's more dummies in the world than there are intelligent people. So in a game of numbers, you lost because more people. So we'll all just make fun of you with our not funny jokes. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to AB. AB says, I'm guilty too, Rob. But look, though, bro, if you even, like, there's nothing wrong with, like, you know, indulging in your hard-earned money, especially if you're doing the right things with it. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like, listen, I'm gonna take vacations. I'm gonna do all that stuff, but I'm gonna still invest, though. It's a difference between spending all of your money on stupid stuff and actually investing and putting aside a little bit of money for your sanity, because you deserve to spend your hard-earned money. If you want to, if you're one of those people that you just can't wait to buy cryptocurrency and that is what you enjoy, shit, by all means, what I'm saying, dive in head first. But if you like, I want to kick it every now and then, I want to do XYZ, bro, you allowed to do that. You earn that. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta agree, people work their whole lives and pass away not having traveled. And then I try to talk you out of traveling. You ever heard anybody try to talk anybody out of doing some dumb shit? Like it's always like a system talk, or it's always like, some type of pep rally or something like that when people are being talked out of stupid shit. But in a lot of cases, more people will talk you into doing stupid shit and not talk you out of doing dumb shit. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said, I'm getting me one of them new Corvettes and putting that thing on Toro for rent. Yo, I'm going to be the first one to rent it from you. And I'm going to rent it from you with Crow and Knife. I'm going to rent that bad and make it black with red seats, bro. Black with the red bucket seats. Oh, yeah, I'm the first. I'm going to be like Unicron out here. It pleases me to be the first. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But like, and again, like, in an evolving landscape, if you listen to like a lot of the old videos that I made, like the old videos from like 2, 3, 4 years ago, and I gotta get BLR 2 fixed so that the video is visible again. Like they made the playlist, like I know what's wrong now. Why I'm having trouble unlocking it is because they made the videos and the playlists and the podcast playlist. They made all of them things private. So I got to go back through and figure out which playlist is supposed to be public. Then I got to figure out which video is supposed to be public. So I gotta go back and first unprivate the playlist. Then I gotta unprivate the individual videos, which that's gonna take a minute. But you see people now, it's people that adopt the talking points that I had back in the day. And I never had no popular talking points. But you know what I'm saying? Like when you utilize base reality and just bare bones facts, as much as people may want to get away from, like you can't get away from them. You know what I'm saying? You can't get away from them. So yeah, so anyway, what's this? Kathy Woods. Kathy Woods says Bitcoin's appeal is growing among major investors and is due to unique risk and return profile compared to traditional assets. Now, look, shout out, like, see this, I want to add, and I'll be asking this, right, about the whole quote unquote white validation thing, right? Is it really white validation? Because people be selective with the validation, and they be selective about the white people that validation can come through. As you guys can clearly see here, right? As you can clearly see. Oh, I got you, Hurricane. I think I only got one video in that playlist, so I can unprivate that playlist and unprivate that video for sure. And I'm gonna be doing more with the whole tools of industrial strength concept too. So it's gonna be some more stuff coming. But do y'all notice that though? Okay, so like when they talk about like quote unquote white validation, right? So somebody will say white validation, then somebody will use a Warren Buffett talking point to stop people from buying cryptocurrency. But then as far as the white validation goes, how many people have you seen white validating, Michael Saylor or Kathy Woods? So what I find fascinating about the whole white validation thing, when it comes to the white validation thing, if you look at it, in many instances, it's only validating of negative things. And anytime there's anything, that somebody might say that's a positive thing, it's not white validated. It's not I'm white and I say so. It's just completely ignored. And where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line between what's white validation and what's I'm white and I say so? Because if somebody wants to throw Warren Buffett at me and say Warren Buffett said XYZ about Bitcoin, okay, so in that instance, can I use the argument, well, that's just I'm white and I say so? Can I say that to the I'm white and I say so people? Because how now, if you ask me, right, the whole Warren Buffett anti-crypto stance, that actually is I'm white and I say so. But you're using that as validation to tell me what not to do. But that is actually actual I'm white and I say so, because Warren Buffett is not consistent with reality. He's not using any data. He's just saying something and then he's throwing his hands up and backing away. Michael Saylor wrote an entire, like 21 strategies plan with math that shows why his investment strategy is what it is. Cathie Woods wrote a couple books in regards to why she's doing what she's doing. Warren Buffett has literally no technical analysis on why just don't buy Bitcoin because it's dumb. But in that instance, the actual I'm white and I say so gets used as validating information, and the people like Cathie Woods and Michael Saylor who have actual data behind what they're saying, it just gets ignored. I don't understand that. So how do you make the choice or the determination on what these things are? This is how, and again, this points to the fact that there's rolling double standards. You know what I'm saying? There's dual stances, and there's no requirement of making sense. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said, "Can Warren Buffett even use can he drive a stick shift?" Right. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. His name recognition alone, right? Now, let's even go as further with the name recognition, because these same people say that there's a system of false credentialing, right? Now, we know, right, one of Warren Buffett's biggest financial successes was his investment in Apple. His staff made those investments. He didn't. So why is he recognized? Oh, he's recognized on a system of false credentials. On that system of false credentials, he decides to make an assertion without data. Bitcoin is nothing. Then people take that assertion based on data, which is actual textbook, I'm white and I say so, and bring it to you and say, Bitcoin is a scam. Then you got two white people that got material evidence that this thing works. Michael Saylor not only has his 21 business plan, but he also has the success of MicroStrategies as his company, right? Empirical evidence, scientific process. We're not even going to mention these people. And then we'll just make jokes about it. Who is this clown, Michael Saylor? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so when there's people that don't use I'm white and I say so, they're ignored. But when people do use I'm white and I say so, it's either good or it's bad. But the only thing that needs to be noted is that when people don't use I'm white and I say so, it's not even considered. It's not even considered. I mean, it's not considered. What has anybody said about, any of these people? Michael Saylor, Cathie Woods, the God Candle guy. What do they said about any of these people? No, only Warren Buffett. Only the one who has no evidence behind the claim. Only the one who's using actual I'm white and I say so. Just saying. Warren Buffett said. What did Warren Buffett show? Oh, he didn't show anything. What Neely Fuller Jr. said, show your work. I mean, I would go as far as to say MicroStrategies is Michael Saylor's work. Right? Are we going to listen to Warren Buffett? What is Warren Buffett showing? Warren Buffett can't show a Bitcoin loss. You know what I'm saying? Like Michael Saylor can show a Bitcoin gain, right? Warren Buffett can't show a Bitcoin anything except for a statement that he made about it. Shout out to Hurricane IQ. Hurricane IQ said people's intelligence really gets tested with things like crypto. Bro, facts. And the thing that's crazy, it's really not. It's not that. It's really not that deep. It's not that complex. That complicated. It's just with this, right? It's just a simple matter of honesty and consistency. Which, you know what I'm saying? Like, which I'll prove to you is damn near non-existent. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to AB Promotions. AB Promotions said, my first car was an 88 Acura Integra 5-speed that I taught myself to drive. I got more shorties in that coupe than any of my big boy cars. Yeah, the Acura Integra is dope. You know what I'm saying? Who makes Acura Integras? That's like the high end version of a Honda Accord, if I'm not mistaken. Everybody, all the New York rappers used to talk about the Black Act. You know what I'm saying? The Black Act Integra. You know what I'm saying? That was like the ride of choice. You know what I'm saying? The Black Act Integra, cock back, 60 seconds to the jaw. That's when I'm dead in your feet first. You got a nice gap, but my heat's worse. You know what I'm saying? Tupac had the beef. Tupac had the beef with the East Coast, but his boys was the Outlaws. It's crazy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? His boys, like, man, the Outlaws was more New York than New Yorkers. You know what I'm saying? And that was Tupac's homies. You know what I'm saying? What's the dude named Idi Amin and Hussein Fatal? You know what I'm saying? Idi Amin and Hussein Fatal. You know what I'm saying? Them cats was more New York than New York. You know what I'm saying? They sound like they should be on a Capone and Noriega album. They sound like they should be on a Mobb Deep album. Like they was some lost verses off of the War Report or something like that. TONY, invade NY, multiply. You know what I'm saying? Me and you, I got beef. You got beef. I got beef. They sound like they should have been on that. Oh, I didn't know Fatal passed in a car crash. That's wild, man. No wonder all the little, because I be watching them little hip hop interviews with like some of the rappers that, you know what I'm saying, don't really be around or like that no more. I didn't know Fatal had passed in a car crash. I be seeing Idi Amin doing little, you know, he be doing little interviews talking about Pac and all that. You know what I'm saying? That's sad, man. That's really sad. So now here it says, yeah, many institutional investors are now looking at Bitcoin and thinking they need to add it to their asset allocation because its return profile looks so much different and its risk profile looks so much different from all the other assets in their portfolios. All right. So then we got Bitcoin and the rise of digital assets. Beyond Bitcoin, Wood noted the massive growth of stablecoin. That's what I'm saying about Cathie Woods. Cathie Woods is not a Bitcoin maximist. She looks at the entire picture. Woods noted the massive growth of stablecoins, revealing how they are reshaping financial transactions. Stablecoins in total, the transaction value of all of them was $15 trillion last year. That was more than either Visa or MasterCard. By the end of the year, the run rate was nearly double that at 30 trillion. Now look at this. We're going to skip down here. Right now, look. Damn, I really want to. Y'all should read this part right here. Look at this right here. A new era of wealth creation. Looking ahead, Woods expects the equity market to experience massive growth, with the value of disruptive innovation soaring from 12 trillion to 140 trillion over the next 5 years. Now, where's the majority of that money going to go? And what is this little figure right here going to do to the racial wealth gap? Shout out to Carlton Way. Carlton Way said, I kind of understand Warren's perspective because the man is almost 100 years old and he can't simply imagine how crypto works. Older guys get stuck in their ways. Now, listen, look, this is about to be so unfair. This is about to be so unfair. Let me ask you guys this question: Is it? Look, hey Carlton, look, this how extreme I am, bro. This how kamikaze extreme I'll go, bro. look, watch this. Watch this. Would you who would agree that anybody that's 51 years old is quote unquote almost 100 years old? Hey, that's dirty. Man, that's dirty. That is dirty. Shout out to Black Bitcoin King. That's dirty. Oh man, that's hilarious, man. That's hilarious. Oh man, that's crazy, man. That's wild. Look, shout out to Black Bitcoin King over 50 here. Look, I ain't mad at it. Listen, man, if you ask me, being old is a flex. You know what I'm saying? If you old, that's a flex. Especially if you old and you take care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's for sure a flex. You know what I'm saying? We just had to make it so that Warren Buffett had no excuse to be an idiot. we just had to adjust the landscape to be able to justify the degree of harshness to the Warren Buffett roast. You know what I'm saying? So look at this. What is this 12 trillion to 140 trillion going to do to the racial wealth gap? Who do you all think is holding these assets that's going to benefit, you know, from this increase in growth right here? If we're right, then the value associated with truly disruptive innovation during the next 5 years in the equity markets, we believe is going to raise them from 12 trillion to 140 trillion, more than tenfold, she predicted. Now, you know, this is the same thing that Michael Saylor said. She's just saying it in a different way. Tenfold is the same as a factor of 10. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all haven't smashed the like button yet, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell. And also, please share the stream to your social media. All right? So, yeah, man. So, let's go back to this paragraph because I think we could get this. She also stressed that decentralized finance is scaling faster than many people realize. The value that is ramping through the digital asset ecosystem as decentralized finances take off is scaling tremendously in a way I don't think people really understand, she said. Wood placed Bitcoin's potential rise within a broader economic transformation led by artificial intelligence. All right, broader economic transformation, artificial intelligence, robotics, energy storage, and blockchain. She predicts that these technologies will push global GDP growth to 7 to 8%, up from the 3% average of the past 125 years. I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand why. I don't understand like why people are not positioning themselves. I don't get it. Probably like within our lifetime, this will be the easiest wealth that anybody will ever be able to have their hands on. Now, we're gonna try to do this. We're gonna try to do another live stream tomorrow, right? But I'm gonna show you what we're gonna start off with tomorrow. Look at this. Bitcoin headed to 500,000. Nothing has changed. Yeah, I mean, I would agree. Nothing. It doesn't matter that it's down right now. It's still going to 500,000. You know what I'm saying? Still going to 500,000. Satoshi's going to 1 million. Satoshi's going to 1 million, y'all. Shout out to everybody, man. I really appreciate you guys. Please make sure you guys stick around and show the stream sponsors some love because as you guys know, without the stream sponsors, ain't no streams. Shout out to my man AB Promotions. I appreciate you, bro. Make sure y'all show AB Promotions some love. Shout out to my man John Guillory, standing on business for 21 months. Look how long people stand on business. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to Katsy, standing on business for 23 months. Definitely appreciate you, Katsy. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen, standing on business for 18 months. Definitely appreciate you, Brooklyn Queen. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen on the again side. As always, definitely appreciate Brooklyn Queen, mod extraordinaire, panelist extraordinaire, information analyst extraordinaire. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Make sure y'all show her some love again. And as always, ladies and gentlemen,
run for it, run. Yeah, hey, okay, I'm fresh up out the package. Time I did, I pay my dues. Affiliated to this paper, I need freedom for my family line. Draw my life design up like fine art. I'm jumping off just an unfamiliar coordinate. Topped off the porch like I could touch the sky. Red is not one trip. The ism talk the water out your faucet. Look at me flossing, I'm so wavy I could change the tide. My intuition sense the hatred in your ways. You imitated forging lines, claim meaning means that's just to justify. Yeah, right. West side, born maritime. Creole baby, my bloodline. My lungs clouded, my thoughts crowded. Say all I see is these dollar signs. Finna make a play and that sound delay. On mamas, I testify. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Game recognized game. I'm from the Bay, okay, I'm versatile and my slang was different. I'm lane switching with the same people that I came up in this thing with. My head swivel, I'm homebound. Got a target back on my backside. The cat peeling with the cast iron. Better run for it, run before I catch you. Niggas out ball it, block it. Trying to stop my blessing. Gamble with your life. Don't bet it, don't bet it. They can't stop my blessing. You do best not to test it. Yeah, you right. Real all in my blood supply. To get ball up top, finna make a play. I cast a lob like I'm Jalen, baby. No co-signer, no co-pilot. They pen pals, my flow designer. My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission, it's a dollar sign. If I say it twice, then I meant it right.
My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission, it's a dollar sign. You know, co-signer, no co-pilot. They pip-tiles, my flow designer. My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission, it's a dollar sign.
Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds.